right, everybody. It is time for another Thursday Night BBQ Chat. I am Steve Kress, Grill Department Manager over at Wanamaker's in lovely, beautiful Downers Grove, Illinois. And the man sitting next to me, as always, looking quite dapper again today with the fancy wave, the chairman of the board, Barbecue Blackstone and Beer Group, Mr. Ryan Hoagland.
How are we doing, everybody? Such a great night. I'm always looking forward to Thursdays. Not just because I get to see Steve and sit next to him, but we get to.
It's like
what?
It's a mad rush to get. I work till 6, so it's a rush to get home, and then.
Wow, I do quite believe that I was saying something about that last week about maybe pushing this back a little bit. But now it's funny that you say when it's a rush for you, but no, when it's me, it's not. It's not that big of a deal.
Well, you know what? For everybody that's listening and out there, it's worth the effort and the time to do this, Ryan, because that's just how we roll. That's how we roll.
I know, but I'm going to put the poll out there this week and see about changing this. Maybe push it back to like 7:30 or something, 8 o'clock. See what's going to work better for everybody.
Well, if you go back to 8 o'clock, it runs into my playing music bingo at the pub.
So. Anyways, as you guys can see behind us, we've got another exciting guest this week on the show.
We do have a good guest this week. Great products. He's been doing it for a while, and he's actually won a few things, I believe. Yeah. So let's bring on Mr. David from Butcher's Barbecue. Good to see you, David.
Welcome to the show.
You're welcome. Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah, you know what? This is the first time I've actually seen David face to face, kind of. Usually we converse via email and that kind of stuff, and we're just done that. We've never met in person. This is the first time we've actually been seeing each other's faces. I'm sure he's disappointed to see mine.
I'm sure he wants to just shut his camera off and leave now.
Well, now that we've got this out of the way, guys, I appreciate you letting me come on. Thanks.
See y'all later.
It was a good thing. So we've been carrying Butchers for a long time. We've got it over there on the shelf at Wanamaker's, and it is probably one of the most requested injections and products for doing that kind of stuff from the people that have shopped at the store. They asked for it a long time ago. We looked it up. We brought it in. You got a product that wins, David. I think it's a great thing.
Well, I appreciate that. We've been working at it. We first started competing in 2006, and our product went on the market at the end of 2007. We've been doing it ever since. The basis of our product hasn't changed any at all. I own my own formulas. We've developed them ourselves. So kind of down here in this drawer is our special secret, super secret formulas of all the stuff, I guess you could say. But yeah, our injections, the first contest we went to, I had a form of it, but it wasn't how it ended up. Our premium rub, that I used that from day one. So yeah, our stuff's been around a long time.
Yeah, we do have to, I just got to find shelf space, but I do want to start expanding into some of your rubs and stuff. Cause we really right now just have the injections, and we did just bring in I thought they were neat, and I Steve goes shopping on the Butcher's website. Sometimes I look for different things, and we brought in the baked bean seasonings, and I just thought those looked fun, so I brought those in, and so those are kind of the newest thing from Butcher's that's been added to the shelf. But he does carry a full line of rubs and everything, so we're gonna have to start looking at bringing in some of your rubs. And I've had a few people ask for the oils too, so we might have to bring some of those in too.
Yeah, those grilling oils, they work really well for your turkeys coming up. I've injected with those for the last few years and kind of been promoting it in that world just because of how easy it is and what it is. Yeah.
So David, what got you started in the whole barbecue thing? Because I mean, obviously it wasn't to make injections. You had to get the barbecue bug that everybody gets, and then a lot of people, they do I win one and that's it. Then I'm in it forever type of thing. But what got you started in the whole barbecue thing? I guess no other way to say it, because man, sometimes it's a money pit, and other times it's you've done very well with it, but yeah, it gets addictive. In one, you're addicted.
Well, it was kind of by pure accident of how I got in. I shot competitive archery, and I busted my back up, and I've had several surgeries, and I was just couldn't hold as steady as I used to, and I kind of got out of that real quick after that, and that was in the early 2000s. And that old competitive nature was still flowing in me, and I had to win at something, and my wife's not going to let me win within the household, so I had to get outside of the house to go win at something. And I was reading the paper here locally and read a deal about a KCBS contest held. Oh, it's not 30 minutes from the house. And I thought, I'd been in the meat business for, at that point, going on 30 years. And I said, I bet I could learn to like this or learn to do it. I didn't think I'd go in ahead of anybody, but I figured I could go in maybe equal with some people with just the knowledge that I had and running the meat markets and my own processing plant and doing all that. So that's how I got into it. I started cooking local, and I remember the first year I cooked, I think 3-4 contests, and that was back when the internet was a little different, and we would read these teams traveling around the United States cooking 15, 20 contests, and I can remember saying, my God, how does anybody ever do that? How can you afford to travel around and cook 10, 15 contests? And it wasn't 3 years later, we were doing 25, 35 contests a year. I just absolutely fell in love with it, head over heels.
Yeah, that's a lot of competitions.
That's why I got out of doing competitions.
Why? Because you lost all the time?
No more competitions for me.
We won our first grand the second year in 2007, and we had just, I don't know, it kind of had a knack for us, and we had a knack for that, and so we just kind of rolled with it. Yeah.
Maybe that's why I didn't do it the second year, so that's why we.
Yeah. I had an interesting conversation with Chris Marks on the other show I do on Tuesdays, and he got into talking about how it's changed over the years. Have you seen a lot of things change in the time period that you've been in it? I mean, he was talking about how it, everybody uses the Wagyu now and the higher end meats, and back then it was more you took a piece of meat and you tried to make it taste good, and now it's you take really good meat and make sure it still tastes good.
Well, absolutely. We used to cook nothing but prime. Started out with choice, just like everybody else. And I was fortunate enough to have my meat shop. So we had walk-in coolers, walk-in freezers. And I got into, and I love, and I still do, at our restaurant, we still cook the Creekstone briskets, but I got into prime grade briskets, and I would buy all my briskets all at one time. And I'd wet age them, and then I'd freeze them, because we would cook 2 prime briskets a contest. Mm-hmm. And so, man, I was freezing anywhere from 45 to 60 briskets at a time, just because I knew when I wanted to buy them, because buying them to me is what's important. I knew where their farms were located there in Missouri, and just a little bit there in Kansas. And it's also the knowledge of, I think that's what barbecue is. It's knowledge of how to take something and cook it properly. And like what you were saying for Chris, like what he was saying, now you take a great piece of meat, and I think the technicians have to know how to cook properly, not necessarily make it taste good. I think products today not only have to enhance the natural flavors, but they've almost got to add other flavors. That's part of it. To where before we used to take beef and make beef taste good. Now you're tasting a lot of other stuff. That's part of it. But buying the briskets way back then was part of the trick. Having a processing plant, I understood what protein was, which is the fat on the outside is where it builds up, but it only really puts it in the marbling aspect of it. If you look at it as what protein is energy to a cow. And so when it's storing its energy is when it gains more marbling or gains more fat. So there's certain times in the winter to stay warm that the animal will use its extra energy to stay warm, so it burns that extra fat or depletes its marbling count. And same thing in the summertime, it uses the energy to stay cool, because most of the animals that we're cooking are Black Angus, some of the Hereford, but so those black animals use a lot of energy in the summer to stay cool. Well, what I found where we're located is these animals would store more energy generally right around December and the 1st of January, just before that really deep, hard cold would hit in February. So I would buy all my briskets the end of January. I mean, I'd call the food service place up here that we used for the restaurant, and I would order 20 to 25 cases of brisket, and I'd cull through them and I'd wet age what I wanted, and then I'd blast freeze them in our freezer, and I'd have briskets all year long. And that kind of gave me a leg up when it come to that. When it come to pork, I always struggled with ribs. I had a hard time finding good ribs in this area. And my slogan I always told people back then, and I still do that today, is I hate mail ordering my meat. Gosh dang it, I hate to have to get on there and mail order it. But yeah, that's how I got started.
We won't talk about the things that Steve mail orders. So,
wow, Ryan,
come on! That one was like set up. Like David just set me up for that one. It was like perfect.
Well, David's had his own meat sponsor, so he's got his own packaging plant.
Yeah, no, I didn't know we were going to get a lot of history and knowledge about the meat.
You ask a question, buddy. I'm an open book.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
I appreciate it. I mean, you guys, just 6 people in here watching right now are lucky to be on the show, and hopefully people come back and watch later and get some of that knowledge there. I don't know. Did you go through all the comments here, Steve, or did you just kind of? I seen you.
I didn't. I was, because mine's my feed is not reading correctly, so I was checking. Mine looks goofy, so go see who's on here. See Phil
through here real quick. Phil DeRosa. Good evening, sir.
Hello,
Mark
Phil.
from Arizona. How's it going? My guy Ozzy. Cheers, brother. Sorry, just a Coke tonight. And then Mr. Craig from LA.
Craig is on. Welcome, Craig. Craig's on. He watches Tuesday too. God bless him. He must really like
something.
He's either a glutton for punishment or he likes watching my shows. One of the two, but he's usually on Tuesdays watching too on the shows. That's pretty neat. I didn't realize all that stuff with the cows. I mean, that just amazes me that you take it to that level of. I mean, maybe the other guys do too, but I didn't even think about that.
Well, something that I hear a lot from a lot of people, and I try to explain to them, is I talk to pit masters, and they always say, well, the chicken I cooked in the early part of the year just isn't hitting nowadays, or just seems like it's changed. I don't think it's the same. Well, it's the same thing in all the proteins. It's according to what the feedlots and the plants are. Generally, when it comes to chicken, they feed chicken by protein. The amount of protein and whatever it takes for them to grow in X amount of days, according to whatever growth plan they're on. But whenever they're running out of last year's silage and corn and all that, and they go into this year's crop, which is generally around July, August, sometimes a little later, the protein will change within it. So they will get different volumes fed to them. So things change totally within the meat. Just due to the protein count in the feed itself.
Wow.
I mean,
wow.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you didn't win, Ryan. I mean,
I was buying the meat at the wrong time of the year.
Well, see, when it comes to that, there's things I always tell people is control what you can control. Okay. Look at the date on that package. Look at there's a stamp that the USDA puts on every piece of meat. It's on the package. That's the plant that it is killed at. So you might buy, let's just say, an Excel brisket. Okay, But Excel has plants scattered across the United States. You might get the establishment number might be from a plant in Hereford, Texas, one day, and then the next month your supplier is buying from a plant, let's say in Mississippi. Well, those feedlots are totally different feedlots, so you can't control that. But so look for that not Julian date, but look for that establishment number and know that you're buying from the same place throughout the year. That's a good start. And then your rubs, your injections, you can control that. You can control your wood. Learn to control what you can control, and what you can't control, make steps to do that. Take notes of where that comes from and what's changed in it. Then next year you'll know to make those changes around the same time they do.
See, we always just things that we couldn't control. We just drink more.
You can control that.
Craig says that loves him from barbecue and Steve. It's the one person in the world that does.
Well, Mr. Nichols isn't on to the opposite. I haven't seen him on in a while to harass me. Yeah. So,
So I know we talked about, you were talking about some injections and brines and stuff like that. I can get back and figure out how to work everything here correctly. Since Thanksgiving's right around the corner,
there it is.
The Bird Booster rotisserie flavor.
That's one of them.
That's one of them there, and then this is the other one here.
That's the newest one.
Bird Booster brine. So, Steve, do you have this one, Steve, at Wanamaker's?
I do have that one.
Oh, can you grab one? I'll take one for Saturday for me, please.
David's got it for me.
Yeah.
You want one? You want me to put one aside?
No, I do need one. Seriously, that and a control board.
I have that. It's in the back. I won't be there on Saturday, so because we're going to be doing the barbecue love, so I won't be there.
I know. So if you grab it tomorrow, then you can bring it.
Bring it with you. Okay, I'll buy it for you. Yeah.
Yeah. I need to deliver free delivery.
So as we show you got the injection. Now what is in your injections and that's going to help entice the meat and keep more moist and do all the loving that it does? What makes yours different? Or what's the science behind the whole purpose of the injection itself? I guess it's a two-part question. What's behind the injection, and then what do you guys do a little bit different that maybe because I have a couple different brands of injections on the shelf, and yours always seems to go a little bit faster than everybody else's.
Well, let's start out with the difference between injecting and brining. Okay. In 2000, I want to say 11, I started testing injecting versus brining. And I did a control test with this, and I took thighs, and I honestly don't remember if it was 2, 3, or 4 thighs per batch of test. I injected thighs with a makeup of what is the beginning of what our Bird Booster injection is. Okay. So we injected thighs, and then we brined thighs, and we did brine. We used a standard brine, a equal parts of salt, sugar, and then a gallon of water, cup and a gallon of water. So we did it, and we weighed all the product to start with, and I wrote it all down, a starting weight of each batch. We injected, and then we brined. We checked it in 4 hours, and I still had the meat shop, so we was doing everything on our digital scales, and I went back and checked it. And right after injecting, and I checked it 4 hours later, the injections gained about 26% volume in weight. Okay. So you got that much added moisture inside the thigh. The brine gained about 6% in 4 hours. So I thought, well, let's go overboard with this. And I let this stuff set overnight. And so I brined it. I left it in the brine, and I left it, the injection in it, went back and checked. Both of them gained only 1% more over what it had already had. And I didn't really figure there'd be any large difference. But so now the only way I knew to test emulating a cook method was to do both of them the same, which you can't because heat's going to come from different areas and things. So what I did, I put them on a raised screen inside my walk-in cooler, and I let them drip. I figured if the mussels pull the moisture in, the mussels will be able to hold it. So the longer, I checked it in, I think 12 hours, if I'm not mistaken, and both of them lost less than 1% of what they had gained total. So they both did their job of holding product in. So the question is, do you want a 26, 27% gain, or did you want a brine 7%? Now, the difference of the two is a brine will, if you over brine, it can get salty, and it can get a little bit rubbery. But the flavor is unlike what you get with an injection, because the skin it helps absorb some of that brine flavoring, to where an injection you're going into the meat only. And an injection is designed with phosphates. And what makes ours different than the others is our bases. We've got a dried butter in here. We've got a chicken stock in here, and the chicken stock is actually produced down in Texas, and it is a special chicken stock that we have found, and it's a very, very high fat content, which is chicken flavor, more chicken flavors than anything else. So we use the same chicken stock in all of our products like that. Then the phosphate, which we use, it's a German-based phosphate, which is the best phosphate out on the market. It's a very high grade is what it is. So that's the basis of our injection. Is what kind of makes ours different than a lot of other injections is that product right there. So you kind of have to decide, what do you want out of it? When it comes to that, just this year, that's when we came out with a brine, because I'm in business. We spent 15 years in this, and I can preach the gospel on injecting, but some people don't want to inject; they want a brine. So right. we worked with the brine. I worked with it a good little bit, and ours is a totally different brine than anybody else's. Ours dissolves in room temperature water. It doesn't need to be heated. We use the same chicken flavor in this as we've got it in the brine. So you don't need to use a broth to bring the brine back up to a chicken flavor. We've got turmeric in it. We got dried tomato in it. The flavor it's huge. It's great. It's a great flavor. So that's the difference in an injection. That's the difference in a brine. And that's what sets ours apart than others, is the makeup of the product itself.
Oh, we're going to try it out.
You're going to try it out?
Yeah, we got Thanksgiving coming up.
Are you going to bring me some?
Well, I don't know what this. People talk about this stuff called leftover. I don't know what that is.
You don't get none of that?
No, we don't know what leftover.
Yeah.
And just so everybody knows, we're talking mostly because obviously it's closer to Thanksgiving and stuff. But we're talking about David's got the Bird Booster line, which has got a honey and a chipotle, and there's a whole bunch of other different flavors to it. But he's also got a very awesome brisket injection, and he also has a pork injection as well, which we do sell a lot of his brisket injection. I do have to say that's probably the number one. Obviously, Bird Booster kind of goes at certain times of the year, beginning of competition season, and obviously Thanksgiving. But the brisket one sells. What is? Now your brisket one, is it similar to the Bird Booster? Or does it have like certain special stock in it or something? Meat flavor or something?
Yeah, it is a totally different product. The injection is based with an HVP, a hydrolyzed vegetable proteins. When we first got started in 2006 cooking, we took what we were using in our meat shop and took that to competition, and that's a variance pretty close of what we use now. Of what we sell. So what the brisket injection is the HVP, phosphates, it's got some MSG in the competition stuff in there in the powder. The liquid stuff is MSG free. And we had a product called Prime Dust, which is just our dried beef flavoring. And we kept them separate and sold them because everybody had their own cocktail mixture of how they wanted to do it. we did it our way. And then finally, everybody just kept saying, why don't you just mix this and sell it? So we did. That's where prime injection comes in. We pulled the two names together, brisket injection and prime dust. And that's where prime injection come in. And so it is the same base injection with the prime dust added.
What's your take on MSG? Because I hear a lot of back and forth about MSG, but then MSG's just, I mean, they've been cooking with it in the Far East there for a long time. But what's your take on the whole MSG battle?
I think MSG is a great flavor enhancer. We've got it in our injections, powdered injections, not our liquid, and 90% of our rubs are MSG free. But there's cousins to MSG, and we do use that. It's called an ING, I and G, which is like it's kind of like a Motrin to a Bayer aspirin. One's kind of like the other. I mean, it's one's a derivative of the other. Okay, but it is ING is not alert, doesn't have the allergy aspects as MSG does. So we do use that in some of our rubs for the flavor enhancement. But it's not much different than a salt. What does it do in your mouth? It helps bring saliva to your mouth that allows you to taste the other flavors. So I mean, it's tomato, you know.
Yeah. Explain to me the cooking oils. We touched on the cooking oils. What does the cooking oils do?
Well, I'll preference this by saying everything we sell pretty well has something to do with the way that I've cooked, the way that we have cooked, something of that. And so these grilling oils all started with when I was cooking briskets. I actually would put a full pan, and I cook on FEC 100s, the upright pellet grills. I would put a pan underneath my briskets, and I'd catch all that brisket drippings. And I would baste my ribs with those brisket drippings. And I just love what a rotisserie cooker does with it dripping down on the next layer of meat and how it really flavors it. And so that's what I was doing. And it got to where I couldn't stay up with the amount of oil that I needed. So I then came up with grilling oils. And, you know, I'm going to market it. I want to come up with different flavors. And so we use those. And the great thing with the grilling oils is, let's say you're putting a pork chop or a hamburger or a steak out on the grill, drizzle it on the top, and every single time that you flip it, just drizzle it again. And what it's doing is it naturally penetrates the meat, and it replaces the grease and the oil that's cooking out. It puts it right back in. So it keeps it very moist and soft during the cook process, so that it's a more pleasant eat when you're eating. So we've got different flavors, and the flavors are not harsh, like our chipotle. It's not spicy. It's got a chipotle flavor. Same with our garlic, our honey, the steakhouse. That way, you're not scared to use it. If you've got a household and let's say a spouse or the kids are there, they're not going to eat a chipotle pork chop and go, oh, I can't eat supper. I can't eat. It's just a flavor that they're going to pick up on, but it won't be the predominant flavor for the meal.
The way you're sitting here talking about it, my mouth is just like salivating. I'm just like, all right, guys, we got to end the show. I think I want to go cook something right now, but yeah.
And a handful of years later, I did what I did. I didn't have the brine out yet. So I really looked at the market and I had a handful of stores tell me, like, why don't you come out with like a Cajun injection type product that we can use in turkeys? And I said, I got it. It's our grilling oils. So I started testing and doing it in that. And oh my gosh, it does a great job. I literally inject our grilling oils for the last 3 or 4 years in my turkeys. That's what I do.
All right. So now I'm just going left and right, up and down, and this and that. So
I need the brine.
All right, Steve, are you writing all this down?
Yes.
I'm blown away. I've been missing a whole product line here that I've had on my shelf for years, and I'm missing a whole component. Though I do have to say, David told me that I should add stuff a couple years ago, and he sent me an email that said you probably should add some rubs and stuff like that.
Steve not listening to people. So yeah, David, continue on, because I'm going to have to go back and watch this and write this list down so I can get it back to Steve tomorrow, so he can pick it up, deliver it to me on Saturday.
Well, don't think that those grilling oils are good for just the turkey season, because in 2018, when we won the Jack Daniels, that grilling oil was injected. You have to turn in white meat in your chicken. That's part of the Jack. That was in our breast that we turned in. Yeah.
So I need the brine. Do you have all this stuff at the store, Steve?
Look at Mike Davis. Put that comment on there. Mike Davis is on here. He was on Tuesday. Steve is moist. Yeah. Thanks, Mike D.
Well, Wayne says moist is good.
Yeah.
So
no, I'm literally now. I'm embarrassed just at the fact that I only carry his injections and the and the brine and the bean stuff. And
so I'm just gonna have to place an order online.
Well, let's not have to quit here. Let's do some seminars here, and that way you can run them live in your store and just let it loop on a TV.
There you go.
We could do that. Yeah.
Mike Davis is down in Dallas. They're checking in for the World Food Championships.
He's at the World Food Championships. Yes.
Awesome.
You know, in 2012 I won the first World Food Championships, the barbecue division of it.
Oh, did you? Wow.
Yeah.
I think Sterling Smith is they're defending his championship, and he's actually next. I got to remind him, but he's going to be next week's guest, because we set this up a while back, and I got to remind him that he's on next week. But yeah, so hopefully we'll have him on as a champion again, but we'll see what happens.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Back to back.
Wow. Yeah, we got a lot of talking to do here, David, about new products that we need to bring into the wall there, because I think we need a little bigger butcher section. I think you may have been right, David, all those years ago, and I probably should expand the line a little bit.
The wife would appreciate it. Right. Wow.
One of the other things you were talking about too before we got on the show was this Texas bark.
Salt, pepper, garlic. Is it a black rub?
Yeah. What it's salt, pepper, and garlic. You know, it's SPG.
Mm-hmm.
I've built my business making products that are not copies of everybody else. And I always wanted just a good old-fashioned SPG. But what would make mine different than salt, pepper, garlic? So I hashed it out and I figured it out. And so what I did is I added the activated charcoal to it. And the product that it makes is absolutely phenomenal. On the website, if you can jump on that real quick, there's a picture of a tenderloin I cooked for 1 hour and 10 minutes. This is excellent in today's world with everybody cooking on pellet grills, stuff of that. You get a bark like there is nothing, just instantly. And you get that salt, pepper, garlic. The flavor of that is there. And then that charcoal kind of gives it a charcoal, I'm not going to say charcoal taste, but because everybody kind of got a different flavor. But my wife says she can pick it up. I'm a black pepper person, so I love the flavor of the black pepper in it. I'm a pepperhead when it comes to that.
Mm-hmm.
But it is just a salt, pepper, garlic, so it can go on anything. I'm already getting. I have had a lot of people bring up and talk about blackened chicken, sat fish, obviously for steaks. A lot of chuck roast are being cooked with it, and the briskets. I've got some pictures there. We cooked in competition with our briskets, and the pictures, I don't have any here, of the very same cooking time in the smoker, out of the smoker, a picture with a brisket cooked naked, just with regular rub, and then one right beside it with the bark, and you can just see the layers of the bark there. It's phenomenal. Did I say something I shouldn't have when I said naked?
Oh, I know Steve was going to start chuckling. I wasn't even. I was trying to find the picture of that steak you were talking about, and I knew as soon as I heard you say that, I knew Steve was going to chuckle just a little
Did you
bit.
see that? Yeah, that tenderloin
It
picture.
was a naked brisket.
Yeah.
I didn't see the tenderloin picture.
Naked brisket.
I was looking at I can't get the pictures off the website
If we can,
for some reason. But I was looking at a steak here that was just done.
here's we'll do it old fashioned way. Here's a picture of the tenderloin I'm talking about. That was cooked for 1 hour and 10 minutes on a drum, and you can see the bark completely set, and that's the bark right there. Yeah, let me find that brisket. Okay,
Very white. Thanks, sir.
here's the brisket cooked.
Just
with my normal brisket. Here's the one with the bark. See the difference? Yeah. This is that same brisket. I cooked it in a competition. That's what I used.
Wow.
That's it cooked right there. Yeah.
That's what yours looked like, Ryan, didn't it? And when you guys used to cook, that's what your briskets would come out like, right?
Well, the difference on that was it was just burnt. No. I've never burnt a brisket, I do have to say. I've severely undercooked them, so they were tough as hell, but I've never burnt a brisket.
I remember the first brisket I ever cooked. I can't deny everybody was the same. It was probably back in 1990. I know it was. It was in 1990. I was working up in New England at the time, and I had a Weber smoker, and everybody wanted to cook a brisket. It took me 2 or 3 weeks to find a brisket up there in New England, because then there was no briskets. If they weren't corned beef, they didn't know what a brisket was. And I finally found one, and I decided to cook it. And I cooked it like 17 hours. I went through 3 or 4 bags of charcoal in that Weber, and it was at 175 degrees forever. And I just couldn't make this thing work. And when I pulled it off and we let it rest and we took it into the party, that thing melted like butter. But I figured that thing was going to be tough because it was only at 170, 75, but it was at that temperature for like 6 hours. Well, it tendered up. Now I know this stuff, but yeah.
God.
Wayne here said first we're moist, now we're naked, but
yeah, exactly. Better, never mind.
Well, Terry White, ding ding, sir.
Yeah, I'm just amazed. I'm just again, barbecue people always amaze me because it's just everybody's got this image of barbecue people are just sitting around their grills drinking beer and all this, and I tell them, I said, I used to think the same thing, and then when I got involved with the competition people and they got into the air pressures and which way the wind's blowing and this and all the details and everything that went into it, I was like, no, trust me, these guys really. And then listening to David talk about all these different, it's like a chemist going to work on a piece of meat, and it's just incredible. There's more to it than just sitting there watching a smoker. I hate to tell you, but
there is, and the classes we've put on, that's what I tell people is you're getting a long culinary class taught in 48 hours. I'm going to go over the breakdown of the meat, when moisture starts leaving the muscles, when to wrap, when not to wrap, when does tenderizing actually start and stop. Then you can take that back and put it into your process. Just because I'm cooking a Wagyu at the deal, but I'll explain a prime and a choice and a select. We go over all of that, and it's just information, and information isn't knowledge until you use it. So I'm going to teach it. We're going to let you use it. Then if we all become better pit masters, hey, we all get to eat a little better, right?
Right. I agree.
Did I hear you? Did you say a 48-hour class?
Yes.
If you want it done right, Ryan, you have to invest the time.
Oh, I'm not worried about the time. I'm just like, man, that'd be a great 48 hours.
It's fun. And it's a lot, man. I tell you what, I haven't done an in-person class since probably 2019, 2020. It was right at the front of COVID when it all hit. And then as that was kind of coming on the downhill side, I teamed up with Barbecue Champs Academy, and we've got them online, our competition stuff. But yeah.
Check them out. Speaking of classes, I'm doing.
Oh, geez, get that off of there. Jeez, well, geez, David, maybe I have to have one of those 48-hour in-person classes at the store. That would be amazing.
Well, that'd be fun. Yeah. Something we have to plan. Yeah. Something we have to plan.
We'll work on that because that sounds exciting. And if I get to eat that brisket, that should just
right. Yeah. As long as that brisket is there.
Wow.
I'm going to have to look at the inspection date, though, or where it came from and what time and things like that, first.
Yeah, because we go over wet aging, how you can wet age, how you can flash freeze, even in your own house, in your own deep freeze, different ways you can blast freeze, and what freezing does to the meat and how it can hurt it if you don't know how to freeze meat properly, and how you can tell it's harmed. There is just a ton of stuff that goes into this. It's no different than a master carpenter building cabinets on an oval kitchen. Don't ask me to do that. We'll end up with square cabinets in a round hole. But that, what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I fell in love with cooking and barbecue, and I enjoy teaching and telling people as much about it as anything. So it's been a blast. It really has.
I got a lot more information on this show tonight than I really thought I was going to.
Wow, I don't know whether to be hurt or appreciated.
No, I take it back. Not like that.
I don't even know. I can't even make a comment onto that, Ryan. But you just insulted David.
I wasn't. Here, I'll just let me hang on. I'll just.
Oh, here we go. Now, what are you bringing up? You can't bring up pictures of his food, but you're gonna.
Oh, there you go.
Perfect. That's the best you've looked on the whole thing. Is that little dot?
I didn't mean it like that.
Sorry, I know.
But it's just hanging out with Steve all night. I get a lot of nothing. I'm just saying, we've had a lot of.
Your way, Steve.
We're what? This is show number 14 since we started the Thursday night chat. I feel like this is probably the most information and knowledge that anybody's got on our show so far. So, David, I thank you for that.
Well,
yeah, I agree.
You asked the right questions.
Yeah.
Well, that's because I was asking the questions, David.
Not me. I'm a flat top griddler, so I don't even barbecue anymore.
Right. He doesn't. Yeah, he just
grilling oils will do you good.
Oh,
I know. That's why I'm really looking forward to them. If somebody would just get them in stock, I just got to see. That's the problem. Let me go. Are you on Amazon?
Yeah.
I will say this: our stuff is sold on Amazon. I'm not on Amazon.
I'm not on Amazon either.
Yeah.
I actually had to buy something, and it was on. It was actually Ryan and I, when we would do lives, we'd use microphones and stuff like that, and I wanted to do some because I had to do some stuff on my own, so I wanted to get microphones. And Ryan's like, "Well, they're on Amazon." Yeah, and he's like, "They're on Amazon." I asked him if he could buy them for me because I just refused the. I said, "Could you buy them and then I'll pay you?" Because I just refused to buy anything on Amazon. So he purchased them for me, and then I zelled him the money because I just didn't want. Just so everybody notices, that's Trisha left the TV on, so this isn't anything like. She left the Netflix flapping through the thing. So if anybody sees this over my shoulder, it's nothing.
You guys need them there. Butcherbarbecue.com.
Yeah.
You can order right what you need to. You don't have to go to Amazon.
No, you can go directly to Davis, and he's got a ton. He's got a ton of stuff on there because I know there's other things that I can buy from there. And we just bought some of his injectors. He's got the pistol injectors. We bought some of those in there. He's got a ton of. He's got butcher paper. He's got everything that you need to get things done. He's got rubber gloves. He's got cotton gloves. He's got. What says that your
tool is a disposable the plastic disposable cutting.
Oh yeah,
board.
this plastic disposable, the cut and toss. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the neatest little thing. And I've got some knives that are coming. I had tested, me being a butcher, that's kind of my thing is I've loved Forstner knives. I've been a Forstner knife person forever. And I have tested and tested and tested. And I just never had a knife I wanted to hang my hat beside. And now I do.
Ooh.
I've got a bone-in knife, a slicer, and a chef knife coming right now. I expedited 100 of each of them, and they should be here. I'm hoping by next week, and then I've got hundreds more coming after that. But I'm trying to get knives in, so make great Christmas presents and something Steve can sell there in the store. Yeah.
Oh, Steve can get me a Christmas present.
There you go.
Right. Just my friendship, Brian, should be a gift is enough for the whole year.
I can't believe I've missed this show this long. This is great.
I don't like.
It's the simplicity of the show, David, is what makes it. There really is no format or structure to the whole thing. It just it is a true chat.
It's a chat.
The only format is we sit in front of a computer and look at it. Other than that, anything goes.
Anything goes.
Yeah.
How many you have a ton of different rubs. How many different rubs do you have total? Because I know there's a bunch of them out there. I look at them every single time I order now. You think I would actually order one but
I actually order them. I might have some oils or something in there, but we forgot about that one now, didn't we?
I'm thinking there's 10 or 12 rubs, and all but probably 3 of them also come in 2-pound bags because I get a lot of food service. I'm sitting in my office, and I own and operate. We own this warehouse. We've got a huge warehouse back here. And then across the parkway, we've got another building we keep filled up with our overflow. So this is what I do. So I service food carts. I've got restaurants that use our stuff. I've got injections designed just for restaurants. It's not even on the website. The Joe Public doesn't even know about them, but they are a special blend of injections that restaurants use. So we've got stuff that the normal people don't. I've got as many tools, cooking utensils and stuff like that would fill a shelf or a wall. And we've all, I love a home run hit with stuff, but I've also got what I call the elephant in the room. I'm down to probably the last 100 of. I had a store tell me one time, "Oh, we need some great big long tongs. I can't get tongs anywhere." So I'm like, "Dude, I'm on this." And that was back when copper coated everything was really the thing. So I got these 16-inch long copper tongs. And
wow.
man, I'm gonna set the world on fire with copper tongs. I bought over 1,000 of them. Okay, I got them in, and 15 years later, I'm now down to my last 100. Whenever a contest needs something for goodie bags here in the last year and a half, they get copper tongs. A store will call me and say, "We're having a promotion. We want to give something away when they buy a grill." They get copper tongs.
There they are.
Look at those. Right?
That's it right there. Yeah.
Well, you know what, David, I know you could probably the man sitting next to me, he's always looking. He runs this thing, dare I say it without having to hear it another 30 times after this, but he runs the griddle battle. It's a competition. He's always looking for stuff for his goodie bags. So I'm sure you could probably get rid of probably about 30 of those 100 by donating them to Ryan for goodie bags for the next griddle battle.
That would not be an issue at all because they're out, and that's the reason I don't really promote them to stores. I don't want them to start selling.
Because then you're gonna run out and everybody's gonna want them.
Way.
Yeah, then you're gonna be forced to order another 1,000.
No, it ain't happening.
He's like, no, I will order individuals one at a time if I need them.
Yeah, that would be my luck. Is you're lucky they don't come in that avocado green, or I'd probably have them since the 70s.
Avocado green's coming back. Well, not avocado, that mint green type of thing is because Weber's got a couple of those grills that are that color. That's coming back, I think. But
I wonder if I could paint these.
dip them in enamel. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was going through the list. That's why before we got on there, we were talking. I was like, "Is there anything that you want to show off?" And I was finally getting down to the bottom of the list there on the items in the shop. There are so many items. If you guys haven't taken a look on Facebook and on the website and everything, there's a lot of items on there. It's a wide variety.
And one of our better sellers when it comes to tools and supplies is our pink butcher paper. But the problem with pink butcher paper is it's a commodity. Every time I buy, the price changes.
Yep.
It is so difficult to keep that at a steady price. But so we buy in bulk, and it's going to sell out, and I know it's going to change again. That's the only downside. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the butcher papers.
It's a pain in the rear.
It is. It's always changing. I used to buy from David, and then I went to this other one, and I was just recently checking the price. And it 1 minute they're really close, other minutes they're far away. So it's a pain in the butt to try and chase the tail of the butcher paper. But
I don't buy stuff to where I can be the person in that business. I like to supply a lot of the mom and pops, the specialty stores, the gourmet stores, and my prices will be competitive, but they won't be a barn burner to where, and I'm just throwing this out there. Let's just say a great big box store will come to me and say, "We've got to have this because it's the best price." No, that's not what I'm there for. I'm buying myself. We buy some things large. There's some things we don't. Like my sprayers, my pump up sprayers.
Mm-hmm.
Those I buy by the full container. I buy those by the container full. We sell so many of them. But copper tongs, I don't buy very much. So you've got good items.
I'll get them back up here just in case if anybody.
There they are.
Yeah, thank you.
Help out David. Go online and buy those copper tongs and.
Or go to your local contest and ask them to request a free one.
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean, we do a lot of cooking on the griddles with tongs. I mean, it depends on how the old good click is on them, though. That's the main key.
If they were that good, they would have sold.
But they're 14 inches, 14-inch tongs.
Yep.
They're gorgeous, though. You can almost hang them on the wall.
They'll be hanging there with those 1890 popcorn cookers there someday.
You got Terry White here says, me being an ex-plumber doing a lot of copper water lines, those copper tongs look good. We might have just, David, we might have just sold some for you tonight.
You might be ordering another 500 because after this show, people are going to be, it's going to be the new rage.
Head over to butcherbarbecue.com and order yourself some tongs. Tell them Steve and Ryan sent you.
Yeah.
Well, you go to Butcher's, you order like $200 worth of stuff. David will throw in some tongs.
Well, yeah, you get the whole ultimate backyard bundle.
Yeah, I try different things, just always putting stuff together, and some things sell, some things don't. And that's the beauty of owning what I own. I can take it off whenever I'm tired of it. I'll put something else together for Christmas. I promise you.
Count me in for a free one.
This is something else I learned too. I'll tell good and bad. We've got great products, and we got the copper tongs. After I put this 14-inch long copper tong in, there ain't a lot of boxes that come 14 inches long. You got to buy these giant boxes. That shipping cost is now $50 for this half-pound copper tong.
Wow. I can see
You know
it.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying? There's just
Yep.
some things you learn. And so, do you want to bring this in? Okay, let's look at the big picture. Sometimes you're going to go broke on this venture, and yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Now you also do. By the way, if you don't follow Butcher Barbecue, because I was actually looking up Butcher's Barbecue and it came up, but if it's actually on Facebook, Butcher Barbecue. Follow his Facebook page because you do some shows yourself. I every once in a while it pops up. You do it. You do some. I'm sure it's not as entertaining or as structured as this,
No,
but
it's more of a professor talking, classroom setting. Everybody goes to sleep in the back row, and but every Wednesday at 6:30 of an evening Central Time, I go live and we do product reviews. We pick one of our products, and we've gotten 20, 25 different reviews out there. And for the next 2 weeks, since it's going into Thanksgiving, the next week we're not going to do a product review, but we're going to go live and we ask questions on the side, we answer them, but we're going to go over turkeys. The first week's going to be things that go in the turkey, the injections, brines, the oils, and then the next week we're going to go for things that go on the outside of the bird. What can you do to taste that part? So we'll go over different things like that.
So I gotta watch a show on the 15th and the 22nd, and then make sure I can order everything to get here for the 23rd.
Right. What's your go-to rub on the turkeys for everybody? What's your go-to rub for the turkey?
I have always loved our honey rub and our grilling addiction. Those are my two favorite rubs. Last year I injected with our garlic oil, and I put our private seasoning on it. And man, I may repeat that again this year. I really like that private seasoning.
There you go.
You got that, Steve?
No, I don't have any of the good stuff that he mentioned. I don't have. But as a true good retailer, you do listen, and they will be there soon. Now, I can't guarantee you how soon, and I'm gonna explain this why. Wanamaker's is a garden center, and so we probably got about like 6 weeks left, and then the store becomes very vacant. The employees probably outnumber the customers probably 25-1, just because there's not a lot of garden center needs in January and February. So some of the stuff may be in sooner than later. Other stuff, it'll have to come in phases, because if I spend a lot of money at David's, the Wanamakers will come look at me and want to know why I'm spending so much money when the store's getting ready to go into its probably its slowest season. But I will definitely get some of this stuff in and have it all ready to go at least by the spring, so that everything's ready to go
for next Thanksgiving.
Well, so we're ready for next year's warm cooking weather. I know people up here in the Midwest, we like to cook no matter what. So we'll try and trickle it in the best we can. And if I have to order some of this stuff, I'll do them, but we'll try and trickle it in slowly over time. So
I would, with that, a great sales would be a few things for gift items. That we buy for that, the heat gloves, the hot gloves that they use on grills can be given to the cooker of the family. The knives coming up would be a good one. And then things that would be used on prime rib, things, I'm not sure exactly what it would be, but maybe things that could be done for prime rib for the Christmas holidays. Just throwing it out there, let you know.
David, maybe if you would have told him about this a while ago. Oh, wait, you did.
If you would have suggested that I buy more of your products than just the injections and the butcher paper, that we would have them by now. But
I know Brian Kelly asked here. We're getting towards our hour.
Honestly, I absolutely understand and get it. That's why our rubs only come 6 to a box.
Oh, I like that.
They're not 12-pack boxes. You can bring in the same dollars amount and have a wider variety and replace quicker because you only have to replace after 6. So
Right. Yeah.
that's a big sale that we have found and learned a lot from a very good friend of ours that's passed, Paul Shoddy, guy used to own and run Head Country Barbecue forever.
Oh, I carry Head Country. I do carry Head Country. Yeah.
He told me that years ago. He said, you need to go to 6-pack boxes. And I'm like, I don't know, man. But, we did a couple years ago, and what a difference. Really, really liked it. And I know the stores really like it. So, but yeah, that's a big plus for the sales to the owners, the ones that's paying the bills, is like get in a couple for the prime rib, the fillets, the center of the plate for Christmas, and just a handful of gift items. Yeah.
So Brian Kelly wants to know what your best selling product is.
This very. Let's go by category because I don't mind. We talked about it. Prime injections, the best of our injections. Our best rub is our honey rub with a very close grilling addiction. The oil, the butter oil, and catching up quickly is our garlic oil. Very quick. Gosh, on the bird booster, probably the honey bird booster. That's the best. That's probably the best selling. Even though my favorite is the rotisserie flavor, but probably the best selling is that. Gosh, I'm trying to think of other tools and stuff. The pistol grip syringe is extremely good that you talked about. The sprayer is really, really good. But I think, and I know those knives are going to take over my category when I get them. The packaging I've got worked out they're beautiful. Great item.
I'm excited.
That answers your question.
Yeah, you did that. That's good. Well, I think David, we're up to our hour, and it has been a quick hour, believe it or not. And we probably could keep going. So we'll have to have you back on again at some point after I get all of the stuff that we talk about at the store. But yeah, it's been fun. It's nice to finally see you face to face, and we got a lot of things that we got to talk about coming up here, and we'll get together and let me know for sure when those knives come in, because I know I have the Gunther Wilhelms on some of them, but I do need a good brisket knife, and I have some other stuff, and I want to give you the business kind of.
Hey, we appreciate that. Ryan, Steve, I appreciate the invitation. Heck, I can always talk barbecue. I think it's pretty evident. And so, let's do a Q&A one time. If you want to go over ribs or anything like that, let's get some rib panelists up here and let's talk ribs for everybody. Just about anything.
Do that.
I like it.
Yeah. But maybe we'll talk about that griddle battle with the donation of the talk.
Hey, look me up.
All right, David.
All right, David. We appreciate you.
Thanks for coming on.
You bet, guys.
Butcher Barbecue, go check them out. Have a good night, David. We'll see you later.
See ya.
Wow.
Is your head blown?
Yes. My mind is filled with so much more information. That was amazing. Guys, if you haven't shared this out, share this out. I mean, this is one people are going to go back and rewatch. At least I know I'm going to, because there were so many different things that David talked about that I'm going to try to want to get, from somewhere, since I can't get them local.
Wow.
Joshua Hickman, Mr. Tusk to Butts himself. How we doing? Lep, I seen you in here, brother. How's it going? Great show.
So let's bring up because I know we're at our hour, but God, it was so great talking to David, and time just flew by, and I had so many more questions I wanted to ask, and we'll bring him on again, and we'll be able to ask some more of the questions, and hopefully you guys can ask some questions. We'll do, just like you said, maybe we'll do stuff with brisket and ribs and all the other stuff. But we have a big, huge event coming up this Saturday. This is Ryan and I kind of talked about it. I know we were going to kind of try and do something in December, but I'm probably going to say that this will be the final stop of the 2023 Barbecue Love Tour. We'll be at Station 1 Barbecue. It's just going to be too hard to get things scheduled in December. There's just so much going on with everybody that I think this one here at Station 1, which has traditionally been the last stop on the Barbecue Love Tour, because that's where we ended the first Barbecue Love Tour. So that's where we have ended every single one since. But yeah, so we got that coming up. The meaning behind the Barbecue Love Tour, obviously, is it started out to support small businesses during the pandemic, to kind of help put money in their registers and kind of support everybody there, to let them know that we still love them and all that other good stuff, and to show that you can support a restaurant. It has grown into more than that. Ryan joined on probably, I think, March or April of 2021, and we've been doing it together ever since. Ryan came up with his own addition because as I said, the Barbecue Love Tour took care of the business. Ryan wanted to do stuff to take care of the employees, because we thought, obviously, during the pandemic, the employees were kicking butt and doing their thing. So, Ryan, you explain how what you came up with the Triple B Big Tip, and explain that a little bit, and let people know what they can do to help out.
So yeah, real quick, the Triple B Big Tip, like Steve said, does go back to the employees. So nothing comes to me. It doesn't go to Steve. It doesn't go to the owners. It's just all for the employees. Just depends on what kind of restaurant we're at. If it's, a self-serve, go get your food, go sit down. We kind of split it up between however many employees are there. Or if it's our waitress or waiter, that's helping us out, taking care of sometimes 15 to 17, I think, was the most we've had at a stop.
Mm-hmm.
Get one person taking care of that many people. We want to do something a little extra for them. So this month, for the Barbecue Love Tour, Triple B Big Tip, the barbecueproshop.com is giving away a $25 gift card. It's an electronic gift card. You can go shop online for anything that they need. What was
I was pointing to when you had the logo up, I was pointing towards the logo.
You got to go to the outside. You got to go to the other side there, Steve.
This side?
Yeah, no, you got to put your hand farther out. Is that your right hand or is that your left hand?
That's my right hand.
Okay, use your left hand. We can't even see it.
Well, you can't see my left hand because my left hand.
Now move it in. Now move it closer to your head. Now you can see it. Nope. Now point the opposite way. There you go. See, I got to go over here and point this way. See? Gosh. Anyways, $25 gift card for the barbecueproshop.com. Guys, it's $1 entry to get
$1.
Get a $25 gift card.
My light messed up.
Your light messed up. Yeah, $25 gift card, $1 entry, 6 entries for $5. And like I said, nothing comes to me, nothing goes to Steve, nothing goes to the show. It all goes towards the Triple B Big Tip. So we do thank the barbecueproshop.com for donating that this month. So if you haven't checked it out, go to Barbecue Blackstone and Beer. I'm pretty sure it's got it. I have it tagged in the featured section.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go there, you can comment on there, send me a DM, and we'll get you set up. Yeah, I know we got some other people stopping in here real quick. Leprechaun TV, this guy right here. This is the one that did the brisket on the Blackstone. Just
nice.
Saying. Go check out his video on YouTube. Food truck season is coming to an end. Mr. Robert Rose, how are we doing there, fella?
Last week's guest is here today.
Mr. Rose, what's up? So yeah, we've gone a little bit over, guys. That's the address for Station 1 down below us. If you're in the area and you can join us, and like Steve always says, even if you can't join us, try to go to a barbecue place near you. Go show them some love. Take some pictures while you're there. Send them to us. We'll get them shared out. Now, maybe we can get a little folder going for the barbecue love nationwide that other people are doing. Where they go.
Excuse me. Yeah, and I'm all choked up by the whole thing. I did a little bit of live during the week, but it doesn't even have to be. If there is no barbecue places near you, it doesn't have to, as long as it's a small family-owned restaurant. That's the key behind the whole thing, is it's a family-owned restaurant. It's not some big corporate chain that has thousands of restaurants. This is mom and pop that everybody's sitting there trying to battle every single day to try and make ends meet and do their thing. Because heck, that's where they have usually the best food anyway. But it doesn't have to be. But yeah, that'd be a great thing. I think that's a neat thing, Ryan. I think we should do that. Do a little barbecue love, and just say, hey, take a picture and send it, post it on It's All About the Barbecue, or It's All About the Barbecue group, or Ryan's Barbecue Blackstone and Beer group. Post a picture and say, hey, we did barbecue love. We went to so-and-so's place where it's at, where you're located at. And Yeah, I think it's a good thing. I think next year what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and get barbecue love stickers. I think that would be kind of cool. Maybe we'll get those to where we can send them out, and then people can post like barbecue love stickers, like where they had them and stuff like that. And then, what I thought we should do, well, maybe we give the sticker to the restaurant that we have. Maybe they can put the sticker up that they're part of the barbecue love tour.
Stops,
Yeah, I think that. So I think it might get stickers next year for.
It's almost like a little take from Mr. Fred Dudek with Little Bird.
Yeah, exactly. Where's the birdie?
Where's the bird?
Yeah. I got a bird for you, Ryan.
Anyways,
I got a bird for you, Ryan.
Yeah, we'll talk tomorrow. I want to definitely get some products since Thanksgiving's coming up, and yeah. Okay, just go visit Wanamaker's at 1940 Ogden Avenue, Downers Grove, Illinois 60515. Go get all your barbecue product needs. Go see Steve as long as you're not 20 minutes late. I can't let that one go.
Poor Griddles and Vittles. I'm so sad about that.
Look at that. Joshua Hickman says, heck yeah. Robert Rose says, I like that idea. Yeah. I mean,
so and then we'll do a nationwide barbecue love tour, and kind of the kind of a neat thing is you don't have to give it. What we usually do, we used to do it. We don't do it as much anymore, but we're gonna probably start next year. We used to kind of take an estimate of what everybody spent, so it kind of has an idea of how much the tour actually impacted the restaurant. So if you don't have to tell us like what you actually got. But if you go to a restaurant somewhere, just kind of say, hey, we dropped about $40 or $50. And let me tell you something. If you go somewhere and you spend $5, that's fine. You don't have to go spend, like myself, when I go to Station 1, I can guarantee you the total will probably be $100, only because there's not a lot on his menu that I don't like. And I can't help myself for not ordering just about everything that's on the menu. So don't think if you're posting like, oh, we went somewhere and we spent $10. $10 is $10. It's about the quantity, not the quality. So it doesn't matter. If a lot of people are spending money, that's all that matters.
That's a little backwards, but it's usually about the quality, not the quantity. But
I'm just
for this situation.
In this situation, it's you may only do 10, but if 100 people are doing 10, it becomes a lot of money. You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
They're the same, but hopefully the food is good, so that the quality will be good because you're choosing the place you go.
Yes, you guys don't forget to follow the Griddle Battle page on Facebook.
So with that, everybody, be kind and courteous to all your service industry workers, restaurant people, servers, bartenders, the person the person checking you into the hotel, the valet parking your car. Please be kind. Please be courteous. Please be nice. They're all working really hard. It is not easy working with the public. Take it from me. I understand it's a different thing every single day. I think that's part of why I like it so much, just because you never know what you're going to get on any given day. So,
right.
And as always, remember, what makes us different is what makes us great, because nobody wants to be the same as everybody else. So let's be a little tolerant to all of our differences and just be happy.
Yeah.
And so with that, Ryan,
we'll see.